I'm Andrew Rainey and welcome to Kickstart This, where I'll share with you some of the best video game crowdfunding projects that I've found on Kickstarter over the last few weeks. Before I jump into the games on this episode, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed so far. I love being able to share the crowdfunding projects and help bring them a little bit more exposure. So it always helps if you're liking and sharing these videos. Apologies that I never managed to make one in May. This was partly down to me being ill and also I was swamped with work. So to make up for it, I've got a bit of a bumper episode for you today. I also put up a wee Twitter survey asking if you wanted to see any gameplay videos from myself, and it was 66% in favour, so expect some of them coming soon, including some games that I have crowdfunded in the past. Now on to this episode, I'll be looking at the games in order of how long they have left, so starting with the shortest. So we're going to begin with the story-driven action RPG Last Night of Winter, followed by the F-Zero inspired anti-grav racer Kinetic. Then we have the Metroidvania platformer Kandra the Moonwalker, and lastly we have 3D single-player brawler Project Saracen Prologue. Let's jump in. Last Night of Winter is an action RPG inspired by old-school top-down Zelda games with a bit of Dark Souls in there as well. You play as a character who has died in a great battle for a stronghold, but your skeleton has arisen back to life through the sheer power of will. You don't remember much other than wanting to continue the battle and reach the top of the stronghold. You'll have to fight your way through the dungeon and reach the village within the stronghold itself before working out how to reach the top of the tower. You'll meet other characters on the way, and helping them with their side quests should help you with your boss battles. Now it has that 16-bit SNES nostalgia down to a T, with its cute skeleton characters and level design. You'll have to work your way around traps and puzzles to progress through the levels. The combat is also a lot faster than say Zelda A Link to the Past, and it's here where you can see the Dark Souls inspiration as you move quickly and fight ferociously to take down enemies both big and small. You also have dialogue trees where what you choose to say may later decide someone else's fate. I love the way when you're talking to an NPC, the character illustration pops up in the corner. It's already in a very good state, and you can judge this not just by the project video but also from the downloadable demo. It comes from solo developer Mario Dominguez, aka Edlan, which given the level of polish is really impressive. Now if you're looking for just a copy of the game, you only need to pledge €5 or more, which is as cut price as you usually get on Kickstarter. I personally would be doubling it up to €10 to get early access and also the digital guidebook as well. Now there's no physical rewards up for grabs, but for €20 you get all the previous rewards, your name in the credits, plus you can design an in-game item. If you increase this pledge to €50, you also get to design a weapon, but this tier is limited to 20 people. The top tier is a very reasonable €100, and not only do you get to make a weapon, but you can also design a boss to wield it during the game as well. This is limited to 10 people and 3 have already taken it. Kinetic is a fast-paced anti-grav racer inspired by 90s sci-fi racers like F-Zero, Wipeout and Extreme G. The initial game will feature 3 Grand Prix Cups, each with 5 courses, so that means a total of 15 playable maps. The game will also feature 20 racing pods, some of which are definitely riffing off F-Zero, while others are straight out of Stargate or Blade Runner and other sci-fi films. Now everything I've seen from Kinetic, from the course design, different models of ships, speed boosters, charging panels, even the music, they all remind me an awful lot of F-Zero GX on the GameCube, which to this day remains one of my favourite racers of all times, and since Nintendo have ignored the franchise for nearly 2 decades, I'm very happy for Sidewinder Games to make a game that takes inspiration from that series. My only gripe is that it is exclusive to PC, when this would be perfect on the Nintendo Switch. For PC gamers, there is a very early alpha demo to give you a bit of a feel for the game, so why don't you go check that out. Sidewinder Games is a small 4-team indie studio, and this is their very first project, so for that reason it would be really nice to give them a hand and see what they can do with a solid bit of funding and crowdfunding community support. They are being very open and honest about the development schedule and the fact that this is a genre that they love, so they will release the game when it is ready rather than grinding towards a targeted launch date, but they are looking at a spring 2022 launch window. Also, the soundtrack is pure futuristic racing. It's been composed by Peter Heinricher and Orphan Chrysion, and you can stream it now on SoundCloud. The highlight track for me was Supernova for the Solar Highway map, so I'd recommend listening to that. Again, another amazing deal for those looking for just a copy of the game. You'll get a full Steam code for a donation of just $5. But for me, I'd be going to the next tier and pledging $15 to get a copy of that amazing soundtrack. You also get your name in the credits on both of these pledges. Now, letter writing is a lost art, and the directors of Sidewinder Games are bringing it back with their $60 tier. You get a handwritten thank you letter from them, as well as a keychain, t-shirt and all the previous rewards. If you have money to burn, for a pledge of $250 you will get to name your own ship. It must not conflict with other names in the game or any other IPs. It is limited to 10 people, and if one of you do not call your ship Jeff Zero, I fear the world is doomed. Kandra the Moonwalker is an enchanting 3D platformer designed by Flyleaf Studios for PC and Mac, but they are hoping to bring it to consoles at some point in the future. You play as Kandra, who reminds me a lot of Amaterasu from Okami. Kandra is a moonwalker, which is a fox-like creature with feathers. They have been charged as protectors of magic. However, the moonwalkers vanished several years ago. Your mission is to return magic to the lands by opening various portals throughout the worlds. Even from what little we see in the Kickstarter video, the graphics and the art style are just gorgeous, and they remind me a lot of the Ori series but realised in full 3D. It embraces the fantasy elements with a variety of distant creatures like fauns, orcs and goblins. The 3D world looks equally beautiful, and developer Flyleaf Studios promise many secrets to uncover as you explore the different realms. It is brought to life by a classical, almost Disney-esque soundtrack that you can also listen to on SoundCloud. Autumnal Sunset is just a hauntingly beautiful track. If you're looking for a fun and exciting 3D fantasy adventure, then this is definitely one for you. Again, this is the studio's very first game, though they are made up of a mix of veteran and junior developers, so you can be reassured that they are able to deliver on the promises that they make. As Flyleaf Studios are based in Spain, the game will come in both English and Spanish, which I think is something we usually take for granted. They have also planned for further language localizations in the future. For a digital copy of Kandra the Moonwalker, you'll need to pledge at least €10 or more. You'll also receive a personal email from the team thanking you for helping them fund the game, which is a really nice touch. The developers are doing things a bit differently with their tiers, so you can add on additional merch as you see fit. An additional €35 will get you a Kandra t-shirt, or an additional €50 will get you both the soundtrack and the digital art book. If you have money to burn and have wanted to create your own in-game world, then for €2,500 you can do just that. You get to create your own world based around a theme of your choosing. You'll also get 10 copies of the game to give away to your friends. This is limited to 4 people, so you best be quick. Project Saracen Prologue is described as a fast-paced third-person sci-fi action brawler. You play as Sasha Reed, a third-rank Centurion officer of Nova Unit, a secretive organisation to combat alien threats. She's on her very first Luna mission when an alignment of planets opens an interstellar doorway, bringing forth an alien threat known as the Tar. There is very little to the footage in the Kickstarter project, and I imagine it has been designed to showcase the game's core fighting mechanics. But what little there is looks absolutely amazing. The animation of the Tar looks hyperkinetic and almost as if it's slightly out of phase with the world. I love the ripple effect in the air when Sasha manages to land a blow with the help of her nebula suit. It's unclear if the Tar you're fighting is just one creature that you encounter repeatedly, like Alien, or if you will face off against a multitude of different Tar-like creatures. It does reference Biophantoms plural, so I'm very much hoping it's the latter. But the idea of having a corridor fight with a bunch of aliens that look this good is one I would certainly invest in. Studio behind Project Saracen, NioFox Games, are based in one of my favourite cities, Toronto, and describe this game as a love letter to action fans. The main combat mechanic not only looks fun, but it's something that requires a bit of thought rather than button bashing. You'll have to utilise the environment and counter the Tar's own moves to defeat it. For a copy of the game on Steam, you'll be looking at a pledge of 32 Canadian dollars, which is about £19. However, there is an early bird tier for the first 300 people where you'll get it at a reduced rate of 22 Canadian dollars instead. If you want to pick up an exclusive Kickstarter t-shirt as well as a digital copy of the soundtrack, then you're looking at a pledge of 100 Canadian dollars or more, which is roughly around 60 quid. You'll also get a thank you credit as well. If you are far richer than me and have 5,000 Canadian dollars to spare, then check out the Cosmic Terra reward tier. You will work with the game's artist to have your face integrated onto one of the Biophantoms that will appear in a special encounter against Sasha. You'll also get to record some dialogue for this character as well. You'll get a ton of goodies, including 3 copies of the game, 3 t-shirts, a 3D printed bust collectible, and a poster size illustration. That's all from me. As always, I'll be keeping an eye on the progress of all of the projects that I've shown and helping them out by spreading the word on Twitter at Andrew Rainey and at kick_start_this. So please come follow me, share the video links and spread the word even further. If you can help out these developers, then please click on the project link in the comments to give them a pledge. If you cannot afford to donate, I'm sure they would appreciate it if you would share the link to their Kickstarter page across all of your social media. If you love crowdfunding video games as much as I do and want to hear about exciting new campaigns, remember to hit the subscribe and the alert buttons for Kickstart This. I'm hoping to grow this channel and start using any funds to create a Kickstarter pot to give developers a little push over the finish line as and when they need it. And if you're someone who has just launched a campaign or is about to, please get in touch as I'm looking to expand this channel and interview developers about all of their crowdfunding experiences. Until next time.